Could cats be secretly ruling the world? I'm not kidding. Right now, you might be carrying a microscopic parasite in your brain that's affecting your decisions. And you may have caught it from your cat. To understand the real power of our cute, fluffy roommates, we have to shrink down and dive into the microscopic world. Scientists estimate there are around a nonillion to 100 nonillion bacteria on Earth. That's far more than all the grains of sand on the planet. And each of us carries tens of trillions of bacteria in and on our bodies. So you're basically a walking super apartment building for microbes. But among all these parasites, one stands out as truly bizarre. A parasite so strategic, so perfectly evolved, that scientists still argue whether it simply influences behavior or rewrites it entirely. Meet Toxoplasma Gondii, a parasitic protozoan, not a virus, not a bacterium, but a single-celled mastermind. Toxoplasma is estimated to infect up to 1/3 of the entire human population. That means statistically, either you have it, or someone sitting very close to you does. It's one of the most successful parasites on Earth. But how does a single cell become such an evolutionary success? The answer lies in cats. The only animals on the planet where Toxoplasma can reproduce sexually, and yes, that matters a lot. Inside the cat's small intestine, Toxoplasma completes a complex reproductive cycle, producing tens of millions of oocysts, microscopic eggs, which are shed into the environment through the cat's feces. Each oocyst can survive for years. Heat, cold, dryness, almost nothing destroys them. And that is where the story begins, because the parasite must find a way to get back inside a cat in order to reproduce again. Enter. Toxoplasma has come up with a tactical strategy that could rival a full-blown military operation. But to pull off this plan, it needs a volunteer, or, to be more accurate, a victim. The rat, Toxoplasma's most tragic and most important player. When a rat accidentally consumes a Toxoplasma oocyst from soil, water, or food, the parasite travels through its bloodstream and eventually settles into the one place that matters: the brain, specifically the amygdala. The center of fear, the amygdala is one of the most ancient parts of our emotional brain. Its whole job is simple: keep this body alive, right now. When a predator shows up, the amygdala basically slams two huge buttons on your mental dashboard: fight and maybe survive, or run and hopefully survive. It's not exactly a blue pill, red pill moment of pure free will, but it is the switchboard where your fear, your panic, and your survival instincts get decided. And that is exactly the room Toxoplasma close this fear system. In a normal wildlife, mice run from cats like hobbits fleeing Nazgul, low to the ground, eyes wide, diving into any hole they can find. Predator shows up, tiny prey be like, "Nope, I'm out," and vanishes. But Toxoplasma doesn't play by those rules. This parasite has its own agenda, and it wants to go back to its true master, the cat. If Sauron had the One Ring, Toxoplasma is more like the one parasite. One parasite to guide them all, one host to always call, one feline to bring them near, and in the shadows bend their fear. In rats and mice that are infected with Toxoplasma, something truly twisted happens. The smell of cats, even cat urine, stops being terrifying and starts becoming weirdly attractive. Instead of running away, they're more likely to move toward the very predator that should kill them. It's the biological version of that old saying: falling in love with your own executioner. The inevitable end. The mouse is caught and ready to be digested, and with that, the cycle is complete. Toxoplasma returns to a cat host where it can reproduce all over again. You might think, we're safe behind the walls, nobody's eating mice in my culture. And you'd be mostly right. In most traditional cuisines, mouse is not exactly on the tasting menu. If anything, it's in the scream and stand on a chair category. Can also infect farm animals like sheep, pigs, goats, and cattle. Also unwashed vegetables contaminated with soil. In humans, Toxoplasma can damage the eyes and brain, and it's been linked to higher rates of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, OCD, and even increased anger and irritability. Toxoplasma rarely kills you directly. Most healthy people just feel like they had a mild flu, if anything. But it may be deadly indirectly. Studies suggest it can slow reaction time, distract your attention, and is linked to a higher risk of traffic accidents. A tiny delay at the worst possible moment can be all it takes. So what are the things that turn Toxoplasma into a kind of microscopic supervillain? Toxoplasma doesn't hang around in your blood, it dives straight into your cells. So from the outside, it just looks like you. Once it's inside, Toxo builds itself a tiny panic room, a custom bubble where the cell's acid cleaners can't reach it. Your immune system sees a normal cell with a very illegal roommate. Toxoplasma goes from fast attacker to sleepy cyst mode, a slow, hidden version that can chill inside your brain for years. Of course, the body screams intruder. So Toxo starts fiddling with the wiring. It tweaks the cell's signaling so some alarm molecules get turned down. Not off, armored just enough that the neighborhood doesn't fully wake up. Finally, it wraps itself in a thick, armored cyst wall. Out of thousands of animal species, why does the cat win? Because for Toxoplasma, cats aren't just hosts, they're home base. Because cats are felines, the whole cat family, and only in feline guts can Toxoplasma complete its full love life. Have sex, reshuffle genes, and mass-produce eggs thanks to the cat intestine's unique mix of acids and fats that flips the parasite into reproduction mode. So a cat's intestine is basically a warm, high-efficiency Toxoplasma factory. Cats also run a bit hotter than us, around 38 to 39 degrees Celsius, a cozy temperature for the parasite, and their intestines have a chemistry and structure Toxo really likes. Toxoplasma isn't an only child. It belongs to a whole clan of parasites called apicomplexans. Some of its closest cousins infect other animals. For example, Neospora hits dogs and cattle. Haemondia quietly cycles between dogs or cats and livestock. Same basic toolkit. Sneak into cells, build cysts, mess with the immune system. When did Toxoplasma first show up? By comparing its DNA to that of its relatives and using a molecular clock, a method that estimates time from how fast mutations accumulate. Scientists can roughly date its family tree. If you go far enough back, you end up not with your fluffy house cat, but with the first wild cat-like ancestors stalking warm jungles and forests. Somewhere in those early felines, Toxoplasma seems to have found its perfect home, and it never let go. Fast forward to today, and everyone's favorite descendant is, of course, the house cat, which suggests Toxoplasma picked a very solid, long-term investment. So how did cats become so successful? Because much like owls, they're insanely over-engineered predators, night vision tuned for low light, whiskers acting like radar, paws that land almost silently, and a built-in sprint mode for that final pounce. Their ears can pick up sounds from about 48,000 to 85,000 hertz, far higher than humans, and each ear can rotate almost 180 degrees independently. That means they can hear a mouse's footsteps behind a wall and pinpoint its exact location without even seeing it. A cat's whiskers aren't just for show. They're packed with nerves and act like high-precision sensors, detecting tiny changes in air pressure, wind and nearby movement, so the cat can see in the dark without touching anything. They're basically the last pore-bender of air currents. Cats are almost obsessively clean. An average cat can spend 4 to 6 hours a day grooming. That's like taking mini baths all day long. Their tongue isn't just a rough brush. Their saliva is packed with enzymes and antimicrobial molecules that help kill or slow down bacteria. Things like lysozyme, lactoferrin, and peroxidase systems work like a tiny chemical cleaning kit. So every lick is part comb, part disinfection, and you get the ultimate predator that can stalk wild prey and ambush your Christmas tree. Is it really just Toxoplasma that makes us love cats this much? Not exactly. The parasite might be adding a tiny bit of brain seasoning, but our bond with cats is much older and much more down to earth. When humans switched to farming, grain became our lifeline, and also an all-you-can-eat buffet for mice and rats. If you had a barn full of wheat, you weren't just a farmer, you were also running a rodent restaurant. That's where cats stepped in as silent, four-legged pest control specialists. Unlike dogs, which we actively domesticated for guarding, hunting, and herding, cats seem to have domesticated themselves. In ancient Egypt, cats weren't just pets, they were sacred. Archaeologists have found entire cemeteries filled with mummified cats, and temple complexes dedicated to cat goddesses like Bastet, often shown as a lioness or a woman with a cat's head. For thousands of years, not much has changed. Cats still act like the secret rulers of our cities. Istanbul is known as the City of Cats. In Ottoman times, charities fed and protected street cats, and neglecting or starving a house cat could even be punished by law. Vikings took cats onto their ships to control rats, and in myth, the goddess Freya rode a chariot pulled by cats. In London, some cats are even official staff. Chief Mouser cats have been hunting mice for the government for about a century, and there is still a Chief Mouser on duty today. In most of history, humans have treated cats with a weird mix of respect and affection, except in medieval Europe. During the Middle Ages, some church texts started to paint cats, especially black cats, as symbols of the devil and heresy. One famous example is Pope Gregory IX's letter Vox in Rama in 1233, which describes a satanic cult ritual centered around a black cat. He didn't literally pass a law saying kill all cats, but messages like this helped turn the cat from a useful ally into a suspected partner of the devil. Since we've talked about cats' dark side, let's talk about how insanely good they are in the dark. Cats can see in about 1/6 of the light we need. Their eyes are packed with 6 to 8 times more rod cells than ours, and they have a shiny layer called the tapetum lucidum that bounces light back through the retina for a second pass. That's why they see so well at night, and why their eyes glow like tiny headlights. In the 1930s, inventor Percy Shaw noticed his car headlights shining back from a cat's eyes on a dark road, barely avoiding a crash. That moment led to the classic cat's eye reflectors used along highways, especially in wartime blackouts. Tiny plastic cat eyes quietly keeping drivers alive at night. If Toxoplasma slightly increases traffic accidents in some humans, cats probably saved way more lives through the cat's eye road reflectors they inspired. Could cats be using a few evolutionary tricks to make us like them more? Many scientists think the answer is at least partly yes. Domestic cats are a weird exception among felines. When they grow up, they keep meowing. Lions, tigers, and other wild relatives barely meow to each other as adults. But house cats use meowing mainly toward humans. With each other, they rely much more on body language, purring, hissing, and silent signals. In 2009, Karen McComb's paper, The Cry Embedded Within the Purr in Current Biology, showed that especially when they want food, cats hide a high-pitched element inside their purr that is acoustically similar to a human baby's cry. People hear this cry purr as more urgent and more annoying than a normal purr. Cats don't just watch our hands, they watch our faces. Experiments show that they can tell the difference between a happy human face and an angry one, and they change their behavior to match. When we smile, they're more likely to approach, tail up, and relaxed. When we frown or look tense, they often keep their distance and just observe from a safe spot. A cat's purr is a bit more than just a cute sound. Most cats purr somewhere between 25 and 150 vibrations per second, and that frequency range is almost the same as the mechanical vibrations used in medicine to help increase bone density and speed up fracture healing. Some researchers think this might act like a built-in physiotherapy system for the cat itself. For an animal that sleeps a lot and doesn't always move much, purring could be a gentle internal vibration bath that helps support bones and muscles. For us, there are two sides to it. First, the psychological one. That low, steady purr is as rhythmic and predictable as a heartbeat. And for many people, it helps lower stress and blood pressure. There are studies linking living with cats to better cardiovascular health. Second, the mechanical side. In space, astronauts lose bone mass, so NASA and other teams have tested low-intensity vibration therapy, often in the 20 to 50 hertz range. So saying NASA copied cat purrs would be an exaggeration, but this is fair to say. The frequencies cats have been purring at for millions of years line up remarkably well with the vibrations we only recently started using to protect human bones. Parasite or not, cats are clearly running the show. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button and share it with the people you care about so the light of science can reach everyone.